there's a lot of people who do black magic and white magic, and you hear there's mediums who speak to spirits and say they can communicate whatever. First of all, I don't really believe in that. That there's a human that somehow has supernatural touch with humans and can hear them and say, "Oh, you have six spirits attached to you." I'm not sure if I believe in that, but my whole thing is like, because people say that white magic is good, but I'm like, any magic seems to me like, where you getting that power from? If it's real, it seems demonic. Any type of magic.
What's the difference between white and regular magic? Or
Well, I think they say that the white magic, they primarily use it just for good causes, like healing people, stuff like that.
yeah, it's hard to believe. But then if somebody was convinced like they were the real deal, and they told you, "Hey, I'll come into you, come into like their lair or whatever, and then do a session with them," you do it?
No. Why would I do it?
Just
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I think like
if they just wanted to convince you.
all that stuff is demonic. Like the card reading, the card people that would give you cards and then they say, "Oh, whatever."
Your future lies, whatever.
Yeah, or like all that give you stones that supposedly you wear them and it does special things. All that stuff's demonic.
It seems anytime somebody's trying to sell you something, I'm always skeptical. To be like, what, this stone, you rub it on your face and it would provide you good fucking chi. Nah, I don't.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think that there is a difference and like it's not demonic? Because I know a guy, and you know him too, but I'm not gonna name nobody. But we know a guy who heals people and claims it's white magic. And people come into his house. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Okay, you do. Well, people come in, you should. But people come into his house, right? And they come with problems. Like they'll say, "I'm sick," or "I have migraines," or "This is going on with me," or "My kid's sick," whatever. And then he will instruct them, "Hey, bring me, if it's for your kid or something," he'll say like, "Bring me a picture of your kid, bring me like a piece of his hair," or something like that, and certain things. And I don't know, he does something and supposedly he heals them. And he has gotten good reviews and people grew to like love him because of that, because he has healed certain people's kids. And I'm like, that's crazy, because there has to be some truth to it. If a lot of people they're either being manipulated into believing this is true or this is really happening. And he makes his living like that. And I always questioned it because I'm like, any magic to me is like, where you getting that? If it's real, if magic is real, where are you getting that energy from to help you do whatever you're doing, cleanse people or whatever like that, and getting good reviews and everything? I don't like, where are you getting that from? I don't think God's giving you magic to do that. So it has to be from the devil, right?
Anything supernatural. What if it's like because you would think if you're basing it on religion, then yeah. If you're basing it off science, just like where
it's even worse if it's scientific, because that can't be proven. Science don't believe in magic. They believe in an explanation for everything. Magic is like something that you don't have no explanation for. Like you're somehow, something's going on with you, and I have the ability to take that away from you. And you don't even know how. You just know he can do it. It's weird. It's almost like a miracle.
It's weird. It's weird because you don't understand it. And anything you don't understand, you automatically think it's some type of magic. But I don't know. It seems just whenever you think about it, it does seem dark. When you start, even if you're doing it for good, you start questioning where this power coming from.
And not only, so many people believe that people can curse you, especially Mexicans. They believe that other people can like creates spells on you and curses on you and it stays with you. I've never believed in that. I don't believe you can do that to me. You can curse me because I don't believe whatever you're doing is not more powerful than Jesus. So I don't believe you can do anything to me. But maybe it's the fact that if you believe, you're vulnerable to that, whatever, because you actually believe in that. Almost like ghosts.
Like you're given it power.
Yeah.
Would you think that Mexicans are like the most superstitious? Like,
No, I don't think so. But I think that they're one of them. Right? Because ever since we were kids, there's the egg thing that they rub on you and then they crack it into a glass and then you look at it and the way the yolk or whatever that white stuff, whatever it forms, supposedly has a message or that tells you
darkness, or
that tells you, oh, you look at it, just
you remove so much evil.
But there is sometimes though where they do that and then they crack the egg and the egg is nasty. Now it could be that the egg was just nasty on its own, like it was a bad egg, but I have seen it to where the egg looked like reddish. I don't know, but maybe there's an explanation to
that. I never. Well, I guess it's hard, but nobody's ever told me of like weird little rituals that, like, other than Mexicans are the only ones that I know. But the weird rituals to make yourself better.
And then they sell stuff that they take that away from you. Mexicans, they sell stuff that takes away the ojo. Whatever that is. I don't even remember what that is. When I was there and I went to the store, there was this I don't know what it was, like chains. Not like chains, like little bracelets. And the girl, they asked them, one of my aunts asked the salesperson, asked them, what are they for? And they're like, this to remove the ojo. You know how the Mexicans say that? But okay, even if it does, even if the egg, right, or that bracelet removes whatever has been casted upon you, where is that energy coming from? Who's removing it?
Is what about holy water?
Well, that's from God. But I'm saying when you're not calling to God, you're using, like when you're blessing with the egg, I guess you are calling to God. Because they pray. Mexicans pray over you. And when you're praying, you're speaking to God. So maybe the casting, the thing that's being removed from you is not from the egg. It's just God removing it from you. Because you're praying. So I guess when you're praying, you're talking to God. You're not talking to the egg, telling the egg to clean you. You're talking to God, telling them to clean it into the egg, I guess.
Remember how every house we go to, like when we move, they spray the holy water everywhere?
Yeah. Our parents did. Yeah, they always do that. It seems like you're supposed to do that. Or when things are acting up, you just spray holy water everywhere. But I remember as a kid, we would see a lot. I would see a lot. I would get scared a lot. Especially in the old house. I would just see things in shadows and stuff.
Didn't we have a priest come over to Acacia? You remember?
No.
When we lived in Stockton, I thought there was I think there was one time that we were saying we were seeing shit. And then my mom and my dad got a father dude to come bless the house. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that. The other day, not the other day, probably like a week ago. It was like 3. I told my mom this. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I heard it sounded like a kid, it sounded like one of our nephews. You know how they always say "ma," which is calling for my mom, like loud. It didn't sound like it was in my room. It sounded like it was outside my room, but it was 4 in the morning. And I was like, it made me think did my sister bring the kids early? And I'm like, it's 4 in the morning. There's no way. Unless something happened, right? But I'm like, there's no way. And I didn't pay it no mind because I'm going back to sleep. But that was one of the weird things that happened. Because ever since I've been down here, that's the only thing that's happened other than I woke up because my drawer was shaking. That's another thing that happened. My drawer next to my bed, what do they call that? Like a little nightstand or whatever it's called. I had that and it was moving pretty loud and it woke me up. And I woke up and I looked around. I don't see nothing. So I just went back to sleep.
It's like earthquake type shit.
Yeah, kind of like that. But the only thing that was shaking is the drawer, the dresser. But it was shaking loud, like it woke me up. And I was surprised, but I'm like, whatever. And sometimes, like, I felt this a lot of times, and I don't know if it's just me. Have you ever felt your bed moving? Like, not actually moving, but like vibrating. Like, slowly, like you can feel it moving. Like, you never felt that?
My mom said, and she said that shit happens to her.
It's probably just like the earth or something.
Yeah.
It has to be, because I feel that sometimes. I felt it's been nighttime. It's always been at nighttime, because at nighttime is when you lay down. But at nighttime when I lay down, it feels like the bed is moving, like shaking, slightly shaking. And it happens. And I remember one time I'm like, there has to be something that's moving this. So I remember I like looked under my bed and everything, and there was nothing. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, whatever. Because it's just very lightly moving. It feels like if it's just vibrating.
You think it's
It has to be earthquake
and
or something
I mean,
like
if
that.
we Google it, it might be, people might say like this happens because if you live next to a train or some shit.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. It has to be something. But have you never felt that?
Oh,
Maybe because you got a big ass bed.
nah. And I be tossing and turning, and so I don't know the shit. I had one thing that hasn't happened to me in a long time is the sleep paralysis shit. That hasn't happened to me in a long time. Where you're fucking terrified.
Yeah.
This happened to me a lot when I was more younger. And it seems like it always happened after a bad dream. Like when I was like anything ghost related or like evil demonic shit that I would be dreaming of, and then that I'd be running away from. And when they caught me, every time when they caught me, it would wake me up, and then it would lock me in place. But that has happened to me in a long time. So I mean, and I'm not scared like I used to be. I remember I used to be hella scared, and I remember like looking at the closet, like, and this is probably my head, but it seemed like something had come out of the closet, like someone had threw something out of the closet at me, and I just remember seeing it from your peripherals, because all you can do is
when
move
you
your
were in
eyes.
sleep paralysis, you couldn't look around.
Yeah, you could look around, but you can't move your head.
Oh, so you were just like this?
Yeah, so like this as far as I could look, but I wasn't fully. It was like I could barely see the closet, and it seemed like something came out of the closet and fell on the floor. And I was like, "What?" And then that made me even more scared. But I remember it only lasts for so long, like a minute, like minute.
I mean,
30.
that's long though.
Were you just awake?
I've never had sleep paralysis and been terrified, because I've never seen nothing while in sleep paralysis. I think if I see something, then maybe, yeah.
Well, it was fresh. Your dream is so fresh. Like you had just got caught by like a demon and shit. So and you're already scared in your dream, and you wake up scared. And then now you're paralyzed. So now you're like, I remember thinking like, fuck, like this, it's real. It has to be real, because now I can't move. I was dreaming about this motherfucker. Now I can't move. So then you start thinking about like, oh fuck, here it comes. Something's gonna get me.
I don't. Sometimes I think about like where do dreams come from? Like, why does that even happen? I remember, because it seems like sometimes you have other lives with random people. Because we dream every day. We don't remember it though. And I think dreams is hella tight. Especially if you had the ability to control it. It would be like, you ought to be Spider-Man. You do something crazy. So I think it's hella tight. But the other day I was dreaming that one of our cousins smacked our little brother in the head. And I told him, don't be doing that. Like, I warned him, like, strong warning. Hey, don't do that again. Like, it's not like he smacked them. No, he just went like, how sometimes we mess with him like that. But if anybody can do that, it's us. Nobody can do that. Nobody else can do that to him. So he did that to him. I gave him the warning, and this fool did it again on purpose, just because I had given, like, calling my bluff type stuff. And I remember I was sitting down, and when he did it again, I was getting up in a rush, and then I woke up from my dream. And right away, I laid down again, and I tried to go back to sleep because I wanted to get back in my dream so I could beat his ass. So I went ahead, and I couldn't get back in the dream. I was trying hella hard to get back in that dream so I could beat his ass.
He got saved.
Yeah.
and sometimes when shit happens in my dream, um, it makes it. You know how I'm not sure what type of dreams you be having, but sometimes it makes me proud of how I handled the whole situation.
Based on how you act.
Yeah, because it's like, oh shit, it was perfect. Like everything you said and everything that you did was perfect as far as like how it should have been handled. Especially after you wake up and you think about what happened, scenarios, whether it was worth it or not. Sometimes you just like, oh, you did it good.
There's a yeah, I don't yeah, well, can't explain certain dreams, but I've also had dreams where like you have sad dreams too. I remember, I think I told you about it, but like when I remember I had a dream that like we had abandoned Alex, and then like time had gone by, and we had came back to visit him, and he looked so depressed, and like I the feeling I had, it was so bad in my heart. It like hurt me hella hard. And I remember just seeing him. I'm like, I don't know how this is possible, like how this happened. It's almost like somebody controlled me because I would never do that. And I remember feeling hella bad. Even after I woke up, I still felt bad over something that's not real. And that's what makes me question it. Why do I feel bad about something that's not real?
It didn't even happen.
That didn't even happen, but just the thought of it happening is enough to make me feel a certain type of way. I don't know how that is. That means that the dream is so impactful to my brain that I can't let it go. Like I can't think of it.
And you still remember it.
Yeah, I still remember it.
I remember having a dream of being with our sister, and we were in a car, and like I was in the driver's seat, and my sister was like I don't know if she was in the back seat, and like just random people like pulled up to the car and started shooting at us. And I remember I ducked. Like I ducked as soon as they started shooting. I ducked, and then after they were done, I picked up, and Chili had gotten shot.
Dang.
And I was thinking like, fuck, like I was clean, like nothing happened to me. And I was like, and then I was thinking like, well, I should have done something more.
Like you should have took the hit.
Like I should have been the one that got shot. But I was thinking like, what I'm in the scenario. I remember being like because after you, and still in the dream, I remember like coming out and looking, and then seeing she had gotten hit, and I was like, I what could I have done? I should have done something more. I remember thinking that I should have done something more. It's my fault because I just ducked like a bitch.
But I think, isn't that the natural thing? I be having like, I be thinking of weird case scenarios sometimes when I'm at the store shopping, and I'd be like, if somebody would have came in and start shooting, like what would I do? Like, but like for sure I would react, right? Because it's like, I think it's natural instinct to duck, right? Because it's like if somebody comes in, I mean, you're at the store. If somebody comes in and starts shooting, I'm naturally gonna duck, even though you're behind me. Because it's just gonna be natural, right? Because I'm thinking that you're gonna duck too automatically. But I think sometimes we think, no, we have to be the shield, like just like this. But I don't think that's the smart move.
Nah, because the odds. I think naturally everyone's gonna duck, and the odds of you, if you just stand there, take it, your way. I think survivability wise is not good.
Yeah, it's like and nowadays, because this reminds me of what happened to our nephew. Like they be getting a lot of warnings out here about the schools, about school shootings. A lot, they've been having a lot of threats, and it's been multiple times. And we were all talking about this, me, my parents, and my sister, because it was her kids that go to that school. We were all talking about it, and my sister was like, "This worries me because it's so much times that it's been false flags, right? But the fact that this has been a threat multiple times is bound to happen one day because it just happens. How many times is it gonna be? Oh, they caught him. Like they've caught a kid with a gun in his bag there before, but how many times is gonna be that they caught him or whatever before anything happened or before it actually goes down?" And on a couple days ago, it was a Friday. They had a lockdown, and my nephew was in the bathroom, and he heard the lockdown over the intercom. So he heard the lockdown, and he's like, I got to get to my class. So he said he hurried up and got out the bathroom. And when he got out of the bathroom, he said, I seen a man with a large gun. And then he said there was another guy there with him with a small gun. And then and it was the police. And he said, my sister asked him, well, what did you do? And he said, he just looked at them, and he's like, hi. And then the police was like, go to your class. Because they were going through searching everybody. And he went to the class and he knocked, and they didn't let him in. And the cop said, knock times. Maybe I shouldn't be bringing out the juice, huh? Because what I said, he knocked, they let him in. And I was like, that has to be a code within them, right?
Yeah, but if you any child that goes to a school is gonna know the code. They're gonna give it.
No, but
to
that's
him.
what they're saying. They don't give it to the kids. That's why he couldn't get in. That's why I'm saying I might be spilling the juice right now, because that was a secret knock. I think my sister said between the adults. So if you don't know that, and the kids, you don't get in. You only get in because if every kid knows it, then the person who's the shooter is gonna know it, and he's gonna get in. So that's why it's only within the adults. So that means you're being assisted by an adult, or how did you get the code?
I think there's got to be more. I don't think they can. A code should be sufficient to open the door, because I don't think that's smart enough. They need to have, like, I think every classroom, like outside the classroom, has got to have a camera. Everything, so that you can tell who's knocking. So that, because
that probably is. That's because it all costs money. But I think on top of that, you just need metal detectors everywhere. That should be mandatory already. This is too grave of a problem now. We need metal detectors in every school. Every school. From, what would you think? I think all of them, huh? It would have to be all of them, because you can't just single out high school, because sometimes these kids go into middle school. They're high school students, but they walk into a middle school. They walk into
they go into little kids school.
So I think every school needs metal detectors, and a couple of people working those metal detectors. Everybody in and out is being monitored in each way. Like a store, right? They have cameras. You have people on the cameras, and you have people at the front doors at every exit, just monitoring the exit and in.
Because you gotta have multiple exits, just for safety. You gotta have multiple exits. But I think that, like, if you think about, there should be just a main entrance, right? And only then the multiple exits, right? Like, you can't come into the school through the side, but you can leave the school through the side.
Yeah, but then that would be like, what if somebody set up a plan where they figured out a way to keep that exit open so they can skip the security check? That's why you would have to have somebody at every exit. How many exits does your school have? How many can it have? 5? Okay, that's 5 people. They just chill there. They set up camp right there, and they chill there. And they have metal detect. They monitor everybody coming in and out. Because when it's like this, I think, well, what are we risking here? Money at the cost of what? Children's lives? Spend the money. That's the least like we can do. The security for security is have metal detectors. Because every day you have to walk through them and get checked. Now it would suck, and it would be a hassle, and there would be an adjustment for everybody. But this is what we come to. What else are we gonna do?
Every exit, there's a lot of exits, and some schools have a shit ton of exits. Like, think about like Nora's kids, like their big ass school.
Yeah, but they're going to the second biggest school in Michigan. So the second biggest school in Michigan can have 20 people working the exits. When the amount of students is, I don't even know how much, thousands. You can have a couple more, even if it's 20 exits, 30 exits. You can have one dude working every exit.
Metal detectors everywhere. I mean, it seems like that's the only way to go.
That's the only way to keep things safe, right?
Yeah, because we can't have people killing kids.
That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, you can't have that. And whoever thought of that shit is hella evil. The first person to like think about it, because it seems like only America. That shit only happens.
It seems like it's only in America. And why is it? Why is it? It has to be related to bullying, or it has to be related to gun laws. So I mean, I don't know, but I think there's something got to change, because I do think about it, like, and then my nephew's so innocent. He wasn't thinking anything. He doesn't think in his mind there's a real school shooter here, But if it was, he would have said hi to him and probably got hit by him. So I told him, we were talking to him, hey, you can't do that next time. And I got to tell him how to identify an officer, like just by his look. Because if you see somebody, you got to know how to identify them, whether you could trust them or not. Like even as a kid, right? Because who knows? Somebody might be dressed up as a police officer. So you would have to, what would be the best way? Hey, give me your name and your badge number.
Yeah, but he's like 10 years old.
Yeah, I know, but still, you can learn those type of things.
By the time you're asking what's your badge number, he's already dead.
No, I know. I'm not saying go ask random people. No, you just know. You just hide.
Yeah, and the best case scenario is just to hide. Yeah, I don't think he wasn't really thinking about like the lockdown.
I think because they have so many like practice ones, he probably just thinking it's another practice one. But like if it wasn't, could be bad. And that's why I'm like, sometimes my sister has said, like, I've thought about leaving my kids at home, like homeschooling them. But that's crazy that it's gotten that bad that a parent has to worry about it. They're like, I kind of don't want to even send them to school anymore. That's how bad the school system is. Yeah. When just 20 years ago, less than 20 years ago, there was never school shoot. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that. Maybe that's wrong. That's 100% wrong. But I'm saying that we didn't have lockdowns. When I was in high school, we didn't have school shooter lockdowns. We didn't have those. We had tornado drills. We had fire drills.
Earthquake.
We never had nothing. And when I told one of my nephews to describe what a school shooter drill was, and he would say they would get underneath the desk or something like that. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy, because I never had to do that in school. And it's just the norm now. That's crazy. And then they talk about like they won't let you in or whatever if you're outside or whatever. And I think it's just to protect the whole kids in the class. Because they were talking about, should a teacher be responsible for every kid? Meaning, if there's a kid outside, is it the teacher's duty to go and get that one? And it's like, if you do that,
you abandon
the rest. Unless we make it mandatory that every class now has 2 teachers. And one is just going to they're going to Rochambeau that boy, and somebody's going to go get him. But that's a huge responsibility.
But then you're also taking the risk of like opening the door, and like, what if someone's outside and gets in?
But maybe that's why, like you said, we gotta have cameras.
Every time that door is open, you're risking everyone's life.
Yeah, it's because when you add more stuff, it's more money. More money makes it harder to come possible. Because it's too much money. America don't want to spend money, even though they send I don't know how much to Ukraine.
Yeah,
they can't put money here. So it's like they would need cameras in every hallway, like you said.
And it's not.
How come you can't identify? A lot of times the police don't know where the shooter's at. But don't schools have cameras? So like, wouldn't there be somebody just looking at the cameras to like where he's at?
Yeah, if the technology is crazy now. If you update cameras in the school, like I don't know what the average, like how many cameras per how many square footage or whatever, how the fuck that works. But if you 10x that boy, you make those bitches live, and you give the police have access to the fucking to be able to monitor it. If they would be able to find that shit, because if you look through all the cameras, you cycle through them.
Yeah, because it'd be different if the police had access and somebody else had access. There would be multiple people watching. Like if an emergency like that happened, where a school shooter situation happened, the police have access. They have access. Multiple people could be telling the cops.
Yeah.
Oh, you
go down the right, go down to your right, take a left.
He's right there,
ready to engage.
Yeah.
Like hella fast. Like, but this guy's training. You need training, and you need the tech. If they had cameras like that, they'd be able to tell. If you have 10 guys looking at the cameras, within a minute, you know exactly where this motherfucker's at, which wing, all that shit. So they already know coming in what to look for, what type of gun he has. He can't shoot out. If there's 50 cameras in one hallway, he can't shoot all these fuckers out.
Yeah, or he would run out of bullets.
Yeah, and you would hear him. He's firing over there. But the technology exists so that it can be safe.
There's times where police use robots. There was a scene, like, it wasn't a scene. It was a what is it called? They were in a situation where I don't remember where this was at, but there was a guy who put himself in a corner, and he had shot. I think he had shot and killed multiple cops because he was shooting from up above and he was shooting down below them, and they had the way the layout was. It was so weird. It was so hard for them to get to him because he was in a corner. Like they felt like somebody's gonna get hit. So what they did is that they sent a robot and they put an explosive on him. And I don't know where that was at. If this was America or I don't know, but they put an explosive on the robot and they drove the robot in and boom, and exploded him. And I'm like, damn, right? But they got rid of the threat. And I'm like, there's multiple times I've seen robots. It's Detroit Become Human is gonna become real. Like the whole thing I've been seeing, like in Detroit Become Human, where they use robots and they're detectives and cops. That's gonna become real. But they had another robot like that subdue a guy and ran his ass over and pinned him down. It was just a big ass robot that had wheels like a tank, you know, those things, and he just ran
over a person.
Yeah, like dropped them. I think just hit him, dropped them on the ground, and then they just ran him over. And because of the weight of the machine, it had him pinned down, and he couldn't move. So then the police ran up.
And what did he do?
I don't know what he did. I just seen the video and I was like, damn. But it's interesting. That's better than
having
just
risking a cop's life.
Yeah, risking a cop's life and just killing him too.
Yeah, I guess if you can detain them without killing them would be better, and then the cops doesn't have to risk their life. But I still feel like training needs to go up because a lot of these times, like if you want in a crazy situation like that where a lot of people's lives are at risk, especially kids and stuff, you can't have someone who's gonna break under pressure. Like you need somebody, and the only way that and it's not easy, but the only way that ends up working out is if they're trained properly. Like because if they're untrained, they're gonna panic because it's like they're untrained.
People are talking about, like, it's the first time ever that we get to see footage from war. Like you can go on websites right now and they're constantly uploading footage of war. Like, and before, it's like when you look at World War II, you would have to wait. It was not being broadcasted like it is now, that just can go on the internet so quick. And you see drones with cameras on it and hitting their target and everything. And you see everything. And it's like gore.com. And you see it. And I'm like, I remember I seen you because I follow people who talk about this, like war or whatever. And they show, like, they do a whole breakdown on the video. It's a real video, but they'll block out any like gory things or anything like that, or they'll cut it out. But it had a website, and it said, like, if you want to see like other videos, click on this, whatever. And so I'm like, whatever. And it's been a while since I looked at that, so I clicked on it just because I'm like, I guess because I haven't seen really like how the war is going in Ukraine and Russia, like really like seeing video. Oh, it's crazy. It's hella crazy. People getting exploded and stuff.
I think the art of war has changed, like their air, and I don't think people really understand. Like you look at, they always paint Russia as like the evil,
the enemy.
Yeah, the enemy evil. But if you think about the people, the Russian people they're not at fault. So they're still human. Like they're still they still hurt. They got families. They got pets. They're the same as us. And people are saying I guess they put Ukraine's people above Russian lives. But you see all these videos of them getting killed by drones and grenades and and it's like it doesn't. It's not.
It
There's
doesn't
no
matter
good
what,
to it.
yeah, it doesn't matter what flag they're wearing. It's when you see a human get obliterated, it's not a good feeling, regardless of what. I don't care what flag he's waving. It's not, because this is someone just got killed right there, and it's being broadcasted to everybody. Everybody has access to it, and we have such a desensitized uh, internet that just goes crazy on them. We'll just crack jokes about everything. There's no seriousness to them, and then it's like, I don't know how you can look at that. That shows that we have grown, like, to not, like, this has become like normal.
That you can laugh on it.
Like, just me, what I find interesting about war is horrible, but what I find interesting in war is the tactics, and I like to see how other countries clear out what do they call those,
Bunkers.
like bunkers or underground things, how they clear things out and work together as a group. And because there's a lot of intelligence that goes behind that, and it's pretty crazy. And not just with foreign armies, but with the US. I think the US is the top to the top. I think it's uncomparable. When you see how they work, it's like I seen a group of Marines play Ready or Not. And for those who don't know who Ready or Not is, it's kind of like it's kind of like, well, you play as, like, I don't know if it's FBI or what. I don't think so. It's the SWAT. It's SWAT. And they basically, it's a video game that you do simulations where, like, hey, there's a hospital and there's hostages in there, and you have to play to get them out. And it's a hard game. And I seen 5 Marines play that together, and they cleared it as they would clear it in real life. And it's like a 40-minute video, and I watched the whole thing because it was so interesting how they were talking to each other. How, like, the communication and everything was on point. Like, and I'm like, that's skill.
First take?
And you only have one take. What do you mean?
Yeah, but it's a game though.
Yeah, but in real life, you only have one take. They only did one. They only did one, and they succeeded. And they succeeded in everything.
No casualties? Bullets fired?
Yeah, bullets fired. They killed people in the game.
So they got good aim?
Yeah, everything. I'm like, damn, it was so interesting. Even though I'm watching a video game, but just because I know the people who are playing are treating this serious. Like if they were doing it in real life. And it was, I'm like, this is tight, like how well trained they are. And it just makes me, I think it's a level of pride that I get.
From your country?
Yeah, as an American. As a level of pride I get, like the people who are out here defending us, right, are some badasses. Like gangsters. They're really gangsters. Like, to do that takes a lot of real life courage. And when you think about, it's bravery to walk into a building that you don't know the layout and just rely on your training and push your emotions to the side and the fear out the way and just get the job done. And when you hear, like, that's why it's so interesting when I watch these war documentaries. There was one about, what was that one? It starts with F, like Fallujah or something like that. I don't know how to forget it.
Where is it? What country?
I don't remember. But it's a whole game based on it. It was a whole big old thing where they had to clear door to door.
In Iraq?
I don't remember what it was.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Starts with an F.
You're talking about that game where you walk by the tank?
Yeah. What is that? What is that place called?
I don't know.
It starts with an F.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But there was a documentary. This happened for reals. There was a documentary on that, and there were the soldiers would talk about, like, they felt like, well, I'm gonna die here as soon as I go up the stairs. I'm gonna die here. But like and they're like, but they set that aside already. I'm most likely gonna die because of the way they were set up. Like, it was such a hard, crazy, like, curve or whatever. And they're like, one of us is gonna get hit more likely. and they would fuck it, and they would accept it and just let's do our best, whatever. And then they would get through it. And then like that sounded crazy to think about in the back of your head.
Yeah, but and then not only does it, like, are you still able to push forward, but like it doesn't like, there's no panic. There's no room for panic. You just swallow it and just fucking go. That right there is, I don't know if you can train that. Like I know if you have training, you can weed that out for the people that are not meant for that. But when you have people behind you and people in front of you, you can't bitch out. Because that could die. Somebody could die because of that.
Because even when you see people get killed in front of you. They said they were walking, I don't know if it was downstairs or upstairs, but I think it was upstairs. And there was a dude laying on top of the stairs, like flat, so you couldn't see him. So when you were walking up, because of the angle, you can't see that he was laying down with the gun just aiming it right there. So when I think the first dude who walked up got hit and immediately died. He got hit in the head. And he fell basically on them. So you're seeing that. You don't and you just have to react like that. And on top of that, you lose your friend. Yeah. And to all that, it's like, that's why like PTSD. It's crazy to see that, and the mission is not done.
I know you gotta
continue.
You're still in the fucking war zone, and you have to finish the mission.
Yeah,
and then come pick up your buddy afterwards. That's the shit that's crazy. And
sometimes where he gets left behind
because you can't take him.
Yeah, because you can't left behind, and you have to go. So they'll try to go get him, if they can. But it's crazy. That's hella crazy. There's some heroic ass stories of soldiers who've done the impossible. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.